will call to order the Regional Transportation Commission of Southern Nevada Board of Directors. Mr. Snow.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Your agenda is in order and ready for approval.
Motion on the floor. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Members of the Commission, your second item is to receive the General Manager's report. And the first item that we're going to talk about in this report is the superstar of the quarter. And we're going to announce who it is. I'd like the people in the audience to hold their applause until I read all the accolades for this individual. I'd like to congratulate Jim Champeau for Superstar of the Quarter technical position for the RTC. Jim deserves special recognition as a result of his extraordinary talent and outstanding customer service in support of the Transitions Youth Program. This program teaches life skills such as utilizing public transit to special needs students that are transitioning from high school to adulthood. Jim's role in transit special services is invaluable as he trains 400 to 500 paratransit customers through the certification process each month and teaches riders how to use the fixed route system. And that results in a substantial savings to the agency. Since August 2010, certification has had an ongoing challenge of 20% increase in paratransit customers per month after the state of Nevada decided to shift Medicaid transportation trips expense to the RTC. Additionally, as you can see from the other picture that's going to come up right now of Jim, he's in his Viva Bike Vegas jersey on the one hand, but he's also a competitive cyclist in the professional level. He recently placed 9th in a race here in Las Vegas that was a competitive race, and he's an outstanding cyclist. Every year he really is responsible for much of the success behind Viva Bike Vegas because he comes up with the route and he really follows through and makes the overall operation of the event such a professional and highly regarded event. I've tried to bike with Jim. I have a hard time keeping up with him. He's an outstanding cyclist. Due to his outstanding work, knowledge, and skills, he's earned a great deal of respect from his peers and from the management staff. Thanks to Jim Champeau for his hard work, and congratulations to him for Superstar of the Quarter. We'd like to have Jim have his picture taken with the board if we could, please. I guess we need to give Mr. Champeau a chance for rebuttal. Are those remarks? Okay.
He is going to stop at the podium.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate this. It's a honor for me to work for the RTC, and I really love all the people that I work with, and it's great getting to make a difference in the community and help people with disabilities. So it's kind of cool I get paid to do this. So thank you.
Today, the RTC is awarding its Go Green Award to Tom Perigo with the City of Las Vegas, whose personal and professional contributions are helping make our community a much more sustainable place to live and work. Tom is the Deputy Director of the City of Las Vegas Office of Administrative Services, and he serves as the city's Chief Sustainability Officer. And the Mayor, I'm sure, can tell us something about the job description that goes along with those titles.
No idea what Perigo has done for the past 12 years. He wanders around City Hall aimlessly. That's all I can tell you.
I thought that was your job description, Mayor. I'm sorry.
I'm leaving.
Let me fill in a little bit about Tom's job description. In his role, he doesn't only talk the talk, but he also walks the walk. Tom uses various alternative transportation modes other than his own personal vehicle when commuting to and from work. He lives in the western part of the valley, rides his bike to the Westcliff Transit Center, where he takes the Westcliff Airport Express service to the Bonneville Transit Center, in which he walks 2 blocks to his office. As the sustainability officer, he is responsible for implementation of a broad policy framework on energy, climate change, green building, and urban forestry. Tom secured funding from grants, utility rebates, and bonds, and manages $50 million in capital projects, including solar carports, building retrofits, and streetlight upgrades for the city of Las Vegas. He also oversees the city's green building program, providing incentives to homeowners and businesses for new construction retrofits. Tom is a member of Green Chips, a local not-for-profit building public and private sector organizations together for a sustainable future, and was appointed by the state legislature to the Nevada Vision Stakeholders Working Group. He was also a founding board member of Home Free Nevada, a home performance with Energy Star sponsor program. Tom, can you please come forward to accept your Go Green Award and take a photo with our board members?
Mr. Chairman, if I may, before Tom goes to the mic, Tom came over this morning from basically having put together a wonderful symposium which is taking place at this very moment at the Springs Preserve. It's entitled Convene for Green, and what Tom has been able to do with our Green Chips program, he's been able to enlist the private sector, the United States Green Building Council, MGM Resorts, Caesars Entertainment, the Clean Energy Project, to get all these folks together. And leading members in our community are discussing practical solutions as to how we can address issues of sustainability. And I joke with him all the time because I love him, but without his hard work, his energy, his commitment to making this into a green community, all of southern Nevada would be worse off. And he is really to be congratulated for dedicating his every waking moment to make sure that Las Vegas is a better place in which to live. So in all sincerity, he's a very good fellow.
Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Chairman, thank you. I'm really happy to accept this award because what it means is that the hard work and planning that's gone into developing a transit system and a network of trails that allows me to live my lifestyle the way that I want to be able to ride my bike, to be able to take transit to work, it exists. And it's all the hard planning and all the hard work that this board has done over the years, that Jacob and his staff has done, that allows me to be able to do this. And so I'm really happy to receive this, and thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the Commission. In Business Las Vegas, local publication produces a special section called 40 Under 40 that recognizes young and successful business leaders who have distinguished themselves not only in their professions but also in the community. And it just so happens that in perusing this issue, we found there was a picture of David Swallow, who won this award. And I was surprised to find out that he is under 40 years of age. But we're very proud to announce that
Actually, he's not. For the record.
Yesterday was his birthday.
Yeah, he's no longer under 40.
Is today his birthday?
Yesterday.
Yesterday was his birthday? I think we should sing happy birthday to David Swallow. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Spiffy. Happy birthday to you. Mr. Chairman, while David is coming up to have his picture taken with the board, I'd like to just read about some accomplishments. He's been with the RTC...
Jacob, excuse me just for a sec. David, don't come up yet. I think with all the attorneys in this room, we could get a legal opinion whether or not, since he is no longer under 40, should we even be acknowledging him at this public hearing?
He's got the award right here as proof of it.
It's a retro award then.
Retro award. David's been with the RTC since January 2001 and can be credited for helping improve mobility in Southern Nevada through the various capital projects he has managed. Some of these projects include the Bonneville Transit Center, Westcliff Transit Center and Park and Ride, Centennial Hills Transit Center and Park and Ride, the Sunset Maintenance Facility, Metropolitan Area Express, Sahara Rapid Express Transit Service, which is now under construction. He's an active member of the UNLV Department of Civil and Environmental Engineering Advisory Board, helping to provide support to the engineering program and faculty. He's also a volunteer with the AFS Foreign Exchange Student Program, serving as a liaison for students and their families, while also helping with chapter events. Please help me in congratulating David Swallow.
Thank you very much. Mr. Chairman, members of the board, I was truly humbled by the recognition that we got, especially for getting it admitted into such a distinguished group, especially after meeting him at the ceremony and everything. I feel proud that I was the first one in our group to turn 40 after the event. I think I'm okay because it was published before my birthday, so thank you.
Very good. Congratulations to David, and we're very proud to have him be part of the RTC. Next, we would like to congratulate Krista Kachnick, who is the winner of this year's Southern Nevada Graffiti Coalition, Las Vegas Metro Police, and Graffiti Investigation Section 4th Annual Anti-Graffiti Art Contest. You can see the winning artwork that Krista came up with that has actually been displayed in an RTC bus with a nice wrap displaying Krista's artwork. This year the contest was open to 5th graders in the Clark County School District DARE program, and we got 235 entries from 19 elementary schools. And the RTC picked the top 10 entries, and a winner was selected by an online vote, and that was Krista, as you see here. So congratulations to John Dooley Elementary School and to Krista for this wonderful artwork, which will be on this bus for a year going throughout the valley. In true Las Vegas fashion, with the help of the celebrities that you see on the top picture there, going from the left, that's Joey Bishop, Frank Sinatra, Anne Margaret, and then the guy in the middle is Rip Torn, I think, and Marilyn Monroe, Sammy Davis, and Dean Martin. And we were joined at that event by several board members, our board chair, Larry Brown, and we also were joined by Senator Harry Reid, speakers from our board, Steve Ross and Councilman Ross and Councilwoman Deborah Marks from Henderson, and Peter Rogoff, the Federal Transit Administrator, was also in attendance to kick off this project. The the Sahara. We got so many projects going on, it's difficult to keep track sometimes. The Sahara Express, which will go from Wallapai in the west to Boulder Highway in the east and link up with the Boulder Highway Express, the Strip to Downtown Express, and also the Deuce as part of that project, a great complete streets project. And we were together for the kickoff of that construction. Next, I'd like to provide an update on the legislature for some bills of interest to the RTC. The first is Senate Bill 192, which was sponsored by Majority Leader Stephen Horsford, is designed as a jobs bill. The bill would reallocate 2 cents of the property tax that is collected in Clark County and distribute it to the RTC for use of public works projects. We estimate that the bill would generate about $20 million per year for the RTC. We could bond off that amount for a much larger amount, which is yet to be determined. And the intent of this bill would be to have the funding be used to put private sector construction and design engineering firms back to work. The Senate has approved this bill. It's been referred to the Assembly Government Affairs Committee and has had its first hearing already. Senate Bill 137 is a bill sponsored by State Senator John Lee. This bill would require the RTC to construct 15 additional bus turnouts on government-owned property by 2014. As you know, we have made an effort to install bus turnouts wherever possible. We believe we know they improve the safety of our transit passengers by putting the transit shelter further away from the movement area of the vehicles, and they help traffic flow since the buses don't stop in travel lanes. The last session, the legislature approved a bill that required the RTC to construct 10 new bus turnouts by December of 2012. We've installed 5 of those 10 turnouts so far, and we're on schedule to complete the remaining 5 by next year. With these additional 15, they've already been identified. Many as part of the Sahara Express Rapid Transit project I just talked about. We don't expect to have any problem building these additional 5 bus turnouts as part of the roadway projects that are underway and under construction right now. This bill has been approved by the Senate Government Affairs Committee. Another bill that we're watching this session is Senate Bill 151. This bill is one that we've seen in previous legislative sessions. It would require the Clark County, the cities of Las Vegas, North Las Vegas, and Henderson and NDOT to work cooperatively to establish and preserve a regional fixed guideway corridor for what has been stated by the sponsor of this bill, Senator Mike Schneider, as a light rail system. And this bill has not been heard this session. Since this bill was introduced last session, the RTC has moved forward with its bus rapid transit improvement program, and we've been making significant progress in that program, as you know. Senate Bill 214 is a bill that would require NDOT to establish a toll road as part of the Boulder City bypass. This bill is sponsored by Senators Joe Hardy, Mike McGinnis, and Dean Rhodes, and Assemblyman Lynn Stewart and Crescent Hardy. And I also understand that there was another bill that was introduced that is a bill that would give NDOT the ability to do public-private partnerships involving toll lanes, and that both these bills were heard this week. I believe Director Susan Martinovich testified on that bill, although I don't off the top of my head remember what name that bill is. Do you?
It's SB 83, and it was heard in Senate Transportation.
Thank you. We're hopeful that there will be some progress on tolling legislation this session. Senate Bill 146 is a bill that will mandate that the diesel fuel sold in this state include a higher percentage of biodiesel. As written, Senate Bill 146 may have an unintentional fiscal impact to the Regional Transportation Commission of Southern Nevada's transit service. The bill may add 6 cents per gallon to the cost of B5 fuel now, and 12 cents per gallon for the proposed B10 requirement, and that means a 10% mixture of the vegetable oil in with the diesel. And that requirement could increase the RTC's fuel expenditure by more than $1 million a year. And that would be 15,000 hours or so of transit service that would have to be cut if this bill passes. So usage of this higher level of biodiesel may also negate some of our vehicle engine warranties. So we have concerns about that bill, and we'll be sharing those with the Senate committee, Senator Schneider's committee, where that bill is being heard. BDR 1096 is a bill draft request that would express legislative support for Interstate 11. It's being sponsored by Assemblyman Crescent Hardy from Mesquite, and with the conversations we've heard from those in the legislature and what we've heard from the governor's office, there is a very strong support for this concept to link Phoenix with Las Vegas with the new interstate. And things have probably changed on the update I've just given you during the time I gave that update. So things are moving very rapidly, and we will certainly keep you apprised of developments as they continue up at the legislature. With that, Mr. Chairman, that concludes the General Manager's report, unless there are comments or questions from the Board.
Comments or questions from the Board? Commissioner?
Thank you. On the bus turnouts, is there really a need to mandate that we do it, or is it just simply it's always been bothersome that we mandate that part of it, because I think that's part of our process, no matter as we have the funding.
From our standpoint, Commissioner, there is no need for a mandate because we have been working with all of our local government partners in implementing them. I believe from people in the state legislature's opinion, they feel there's a need for a mandate to make sure it stays on the front of our attention span and stays on our radar screen.
And to date, then, in your testimony, where are we at on the number of bus shelters that we don't have either seating and or shelter for?
With regard to bus shelters, we have approximately 4,000 stops, and there are more than 2,000 that have bus shelters or benches. I think that figure is closer to 2,500. And this year, we have put out 150 bus shelters. Next year, we plan on adding an additional 150 bus shelters. We're starting to get to the point where, because of restrictions with the Americans with Disabilities Act, we literally can't go in and add more in the locations where we'd like to because there just isn't enough right-of-way to put the bus shelter in and still have enough clearance under the requirements of the ADA.
So therefore, you'd have to purchase the property or the right-of-way in order to get them in the distance?
That's correct.
Okay, and so that becomes the fiscal impact.
That becomes a significant fiscal impact.
And there's no public-private partnership that we could explore for those areas where there isn't enough right-of-way at this point? I mean, do they ever just say, yeah, we want to do the right thing?
Actually, yes, that does happen, where we have approached a number of private property owners who have given us the ability to, they've given us their permission to go in and place a bus shelter on their private right-of-way. That's happened in a number of instances.
So maybe at some point this board could look at those areas where you don't have the right-of-way, and maybe we could look at doing some kind of outreach to those businesses possibly.
Absolutely.
When you're ready to put some in.
Absolutely.
If that's the case. Because they've done a much better job over the years. It's just that the older parts of town still don't even have benches in some areas, and I'm hoping that that's part of what we try to do as we move along. And then where are we at on the indexing?
I've been told that there is going to be a bill on indexing of the fuel tax to inflation, and I don't know exactly when we will see that surface, but I know that there's been some discussion about just such a bill. I hope it'll be soon.
And we'll be prepared to testify in support of that, I'm assuming.
Yes, we will.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Members of the Commission, we now go to your consent agenda, which is made up of items 3 through 29, and that may be taken in one motion.
Motion on the floor. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? The motion carries.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Members of the Commission, we now go to your non-consent agenda, and we're starting with the metropolitan planning portion of your agenda, which is item 30, which is to approve acceptance of funding from the Southern Nevada Health District for the Clark County Pudding Prevention First demonstration project for demarcation of bike routes and lanes. The Southern Nevada Health District has been approved for funding by the Department of Health and Human Services Centers for Disease Control and Prevention for their Community's Pudding Prevention First project. As part of this project, the RTC will receive $68,000 for demarcation of at least 4 miles of bike routes and lanes. This includes paint, signage, and other non-construction expenditures necessary to develop the bike lanes. And we wanted to make you aware of this because the Health District has been very supportive in our efforts for implementing our Complete Street program. Let's go to the next slide if we could. And we have identified bike routes and lanes based on their location and their potential in cooperation with the Health District for increasing physical activity and active transport. And the RTC will focus on making these pedestrian and bicycle improvements in downtown Las Vegas. The City of Las Vegas has done a great job in developing and investing in intersection improvements, including improved pedestrian crossings, enhanced landscaping, enhanced lighting, and wider sidewalks, and will further those improvements with the addition of bicycle lanes. The streets that have been selected are in close proximity to the Bonneville Transit Center, and this provides connectivity to transit users, pedestrians, and bicyclists, developing fully integrated modal options. And these streets include 1st Street, 3rd Street, 6th Street, Bridger, Garces. And we'd like to just show you some pictures today, which are an example of what fully implemented the improvements that the City of Las Vegas is pursuing might look like. Now, the City of Las Vegas has a development concept to turn Main Street and Commerce into a one-way couplet. And you can see this is Main Street looking to the north, and this is south of Charleston Avenue. And you can see with the implementation of these improvements with the wider sidewalks, the one-way street, the bike lanes, the street trees, that it really transforms this corridor. And this is Main Street north of Charleston looking actually to the south. And we'll show you what it looks like with the development of these complete street types of infrastructure. Really transforms the character of the community. This is Commerce Street south of Charleston looking to the south. This is the other part of the one-way couplet. Let's go ahead and take a look at what that would look like. So we salute the City of Las Vegas for their progressive planning and design in this regard, and we're excited about the resources the Southern Nevada Health District is providing to the RTC, and staff recommends approval.
Commissioner.
Is that a 60, is Main and Commerce, are they 60-footers or are they wider?
Off the top of my head,
I think they're 60.
Yeah, they're 60.
The engineer to the right of me is confirming that they are indeed 60-foot right-of-ways. So,
as one who has attempted to ride her bike down there, especially with the Bonneville tear-up, we need something because people do not pay attention to us.
Randy.
Good morning, Commissioner. Randy Foltz, City of Las Vegas. Those streets are 80 feet.
They are 80s. Okay. Thank you. And because I know I was talking to Dennis from our side, and so he's making an attempt to stripe for bikes at least on our 60-foot arterials because we haven't been doing that in the county. So maybe we'll get to complete streets over here too. So.
That's great. Good for the county.
Councilwoman.
Yes, Jacob, it's exciting to see this investment in complete streets in our community. It creates that connectivity and puts people on bikes or on foot to be able to utilize these streets and open spaces, and I'm very appreciative of that. One question I have, however, is in communities like Portland and San Francisco, they utilize signage with distances so that someone might know if they're traveling down Alta, for example, that they know how far it is to the next, say, town center, so that they have a distance idea. Is there something that we can do in the future to maybe include some signage for the bicyclists so that they know what their distances are?
Absolutely, and this grant from the health district also could provide for improved signage for cycling so people would know how far away they would be from certain destinations. We certainly can do that. We'd want to work in conjunction with the Public Works departments of the entities to see what type of design standards they have for signing. That would be very important. It's because it's going to be in their right-of-way. We'd be happy to do that.
Thank you.
Entertain a motion? Motion on the floor. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And that motion carries.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the Commission. Your next item is item 31, which is to approve an interlocal agreement between the City of Henderson and the RTC for the construction of roadway improvements on Water Street between Lake Mead Drive and Pacific Avenue, contingent upon the approval of this agreement by the Henderson City Council. Now, I have a picture here on the screen, strangely enough, of the light rail system in Salt Lake City, Utah. And this is a little bit ironic because the agenda item we have before you is to approve about $700,000 of improvements for street improvements to Water Street in Henderson. But we have identified as part of the Boulder Highway Express route to divert off of Boulder Highway into the downtown portion of Henderson along Water Street. And I wanted to show you these pictures of light rail systems around the country to explain why that's the case. We go back to Salt Lake City, please. Notice the context of this light rail train in downtown Salt Lake City. Once you get into the downtown environs, the context of the transit service is very, very important. And notice that it's in an area where the buildings come right out to the street. There's not parking lots. There are wide sidewalks and a lot of pedestrian activity. In fact, it's designed to be a very human-friendly and pedestrian-friendly environment for the context. Now, these light rail trains, when they get away from the downtown and out further on the route, they go very, very fast, 65 miles per hour. But when they're in the downtown portion, they're at 20 miles per hour or less because the context has changed. Let's go to the next slide. This is a similar context that you see in Houston, Texas with their light rail system. And notice the big, tall buildings that once again come right out to the street. The reason for the existence of these high-end transit systems and these fast transit systems is because of the concentration of those land uses that are right next to them. High concentrations of employment and residential land uses. That's the reason for the existence of these systems. And note the context here, right next to an active roadway travel lane, right next to a sidewalk. And so when they're in the downtown portion, they do need to operate slower. Here's an example in San Diego, California. Note again the high concentration of the density with the buildings there and the very pedestrian-friendly environment. If we can go to the next slide, similar concentration in downtown San Jose where the buildings come right out to the sidewalk comes right up to the transit. These types of neighborhoods where we have complete streets and we make consciously the decision to add different types of modes to the transportation mix means these neighborhoods generate much less automobile traffic than would be otherwise. And that's a good thing. And that's one of the reasons when we found out from the City of Henderson Redevelopment Department that they were interested in taking the route of the Boulder Highway Express off of Boulder Highway onto Water Street, as we can see in the next slide. The blue part of the map is downtown Las Vegas, and you can see there's a concentration of purple dots there up in that blue portion. That's the downtown high-density portion where the Boulder Highway Express vehicle will be moving in very low speeds because of the high density where the buildings come out to the street, where the City of Las Vegas has been building wide sidewalks and bicycle-friendly infrastructure and complementary high-density land uses. Then we get out into the main core of Boulder Highway, we don't have very many purple dots for stops, and the speed goes up to 55 miles per hour. Then we have the chance to jog over to Water Street, and you can see those purple dots where the stations are concentrated together in much closer distance where we would slow down and essentially operate as a streetcar operation. We can go to the next slide, please. And this is a portion of Water Street in Henderson that the City of Henderson has done a great job, in my opinion, of developing a complete street. Notice that they've got the density there where the office building is coming right out to the sidewalk. They have the wide sidewalk, and they have the street trees and the street furniture, and they've taken Water Street, which used to be 2 lanes each way, and they've narrowed it down to 1 lane each way. So it's a very low congestion environment. It's comfortable to walk, it's comfortable to bike, and it's comfortable to drive in that corridor. There's not a lot of congestion. It's the type of neighborhood that generates fewer automobile trips because other, more inviting options have been made available by design in the pedestrian friendliness of this area. We can go to the next slide. And you can see by contrast, Boulder Highway is 150 feet wide. And so it is less inviting. There are parking lots that face the sidewalks on both sides of the street. It is less inviting from a pedestrian standpoint. You can see the difference in scale there and why, if we focus on pedestrian-ready developments and transit-ready developments like we have in Water Street, we can expect higher ridership because those types of neighborhoods generate fewer automobile trips and more transit trips. The portion of Water Street that we're proposing to develop in cooperation with the city's funding about half the money, the RTC would front the other half. It's between the northern part of Water Street that currently doesn't have these types of improvements like the southern part of Water Street does, with the wider sidewalks, the narrowed lanes, the street trees, and the street amenities, and a couple of transit stations to serve the Boulder Highway Express in this corridor between Pacific and Lake Mead Drive. We can go to the next slide, please. Now, as part of full disclosure, like Tom Perigo from the City of Las Vegas, I think it's important that the RTC not just talk the talk, but that we walk the walk. And I live right now in a subdivision that's surrounded by block walls. And if I want to go anywhere, I have to get in my car to do it. And I want to move to a neighborhood that, by design, will generate fewer automobile trips. And last year, my wife and I put money down on a condominium in downtown Las Vegas because we have great transit with the Strip and Downtown Express. The Bonneville Transit Center was just a block away. And I wanted to make that commitment with my feet that I would actually live in a neighborhood that generated fewer automobile trips. After 4 months of being stonewalled by the owners of this development, I found out that they closed down the sales office after I made my offer and that they've gone into partnership with the FDIC. They have a 0% 0% interest 7-year loan, and they're just going to wait, and they're not selling properties. They're hoping the market will recover. And so I was stymied in my effort to move to this type of a neighborhood. And so because of the work that the RTC's been doing on complete streets, I noticed what the city had done in Water Street. And we had an opportunity. I wanted to show you this building because right across the street from this building, my wife and I bought a lot. And here's a picture of that lot. And this is my wife and me and my son. We've already moved in, as you can see. We're having a little bit of trouble with the City of Henderson Building Department on getting our certificate of occupancy. But we did our own appraisal on this property. It came in at $35,000. The City of Henderson did their appraisal on the property. It came in at $55,000. We agreed to pay the price of $55,000 that the city wanted for that property. And we will be developing our home, an urban townhome here in a mixed-use development, we hope over the next year. And by full disclosure to the board, this is about 0.47 miles away from where we're proposing to make the improvements to the street. And I believe that I need to make not just walk the walk, or talk the talk, but walk the walk and vote with my feet. And my family plans on moving to Water Street because we want to be in a neighborhood that's going to generate less automobile traffic and support the transit and support the bicycle and pedestrian-friendly nature that's gone on in that area. And with that, Mr. Chairman, members of the Commission, staff recommends approval of this item.
Thank you. Thank you. I'd like to make a few comments. I appreciate, once again, the RTC's commitment and investment in complete streets. It gives residents an option to get out of their vehicles and use the bus rapid transit or the bus system in bicycles or walking in neighborhoods. And that investment in downtown Henderson on Water Street really goes far to the revitalization of that area of our community. And really, the downtown redevelopment area is the heart and soul of Henderson. While we have wonderful master plan communities in Green Valley and Green Valley Ranch and across the city of Henderson, the downtown area really is the heart and soul of our community. So I need to point out that we actually are now at a point of having a 4.7 vacancy rate, that there is an interest in people coming back to the downtown Henderson area, and we're excited about that. Across the valley, when you look at vacancy in office and retail space, it's anywhere from 11 to 22%. So I'm excited about the future in downtown Henderson as well, and I appreciate your commitment and investment in our community as well, and it will create tax increment investment as opposed to being a vacant lot that you're looking to invest in. It will also create tax revenue to the city of Henderson as well. So thank you.
Thank you very much.
And there was a motion on the floor. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? And that motion carries.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the Commission. Your next item is to receive a recommendation from the Evaluation Committee to select a firm to perform RTC operation and maintenance of fixed route transit services in accordance with the RFP 11-029 and to direct staff accordingly. Now, the RTC staff for the past year has been working on this request for proposals. We felt it was ready finally to be sent out in September of last year, and the current fixed route contract with Veolia Transportation will expire on September 25th of this year. Now, we initially received 3 proposals on December 15th of 2010, one from MV Transportation, one from First Transit Incorporated, and from Veolia Transportation Services, which is now Veolia Transdev, I understand. After the first round evaluation of the proposals by the Evaluation Committee, a competitive range was established. Now, what we do when we establish a competitive range is we look at the technical qualifications of these proposers to see if they have the depth, the experience, and the breadth, and the capability to do the work. This is the largest public transit services contract for bus operations in the country. And it is a very large contract. And we also look at the price ranges that were submitted by all the proposers, and we look at the rates in every other city in the western United States to see what they're charging for their transit services in those cities to establish what we feel will be an adequate competitive range. MV Transportation did not meet the competitive range based upon our evaluation. And so we took the next step was to invite First Transit and Veolia to make best and final offers. And before they made those offers, we had both firms in for an extensive round of tours and interviews. And the best and final offers were received on February 15th, 2011, and were reviewed by the Evaluation Committee. And the final technical qualifications and scores came in as follows. For First Transit, a score of 82.9, and for Veolia Transportation, a score of 87.2. And when we evaluated the prices, the scores came in as follows. 100 points for First Transit and 92.8 points for Veolia. And that yielded a total score with where we were weighting the qualification score with 45% of the weight and the price score with 55% of the weight of the points for a total of 92. It's actually 92.4 for First Transit and 90.3 for Veolia Transportation. And staff recommends that First Transit, the highest-ranked proposer, be awarded a 3-year contract with 2 2-year options to provide RTC fixed route services. If approved, staff will begin contract negotiations with First Transit and will plan to bring back the final contract for approval to the April 14th, 2011 RTC meeting. Staff recommends approval.
Comments or questions from the board?
Mr. Chairman, just for clarification, there is no action. It's just direct staff accordingly pursuant to the item.
Are there comments or questions? Commissioner June Kiliani.
Thank you. So the recommendation of the staff is to select First Transit, but then the direction is to begin negotiations. Is that what you're saying, Lev?
That's correct.
Okay.
That would be the request.
Okay. And then I just want to make assurance, dollars have to be absolutely key because we want to keep our pricing low enough so that people will ride the bus. Is there any discomfort with regard to the technical qualifications?
No, there's no discomfort. We, as part of the establishment of the competitive range, we're very confident that both of the firms who propose have the capability to perform this service. We're familiar with both contractors as they both have contracts with the RTC.
Okay. And then in your explanation, you said something about Veolia, something other name that I was not familiar with. Is there a change?
We haven't received notification in writing from Veolia at this point, okay. But from what we have been able to see in the media, that there has been an acquisition of Veolia Transportation as part of a merger between another international transit services provider called Transdev, and we don't know all of the details at this point, but we understand that that deal has been consummated, and we're waiting to receive in writing what exactly the situation is from Veolia. I assume that we will have that shortly.
Okay. And then legally, would that have an effect on this at all?
It could.
It's not clear. It would depend on the nature of the transaction. And without all the details, I really couldn't tell you yes or no.
All right. So we should just be aware that that's a potential then.
It is.
The case. All right. Thank you.
Any other comments? On the advice of RTC Council, we're not going to take any comment during this agenda item. We will anticipate some comments during the citizen participation. But as far as procedurally, we will be posting how many days before the April board meeting? Do we have a date where things would be posted for the next month's agenda?
The April meeting is the second Thursday, which I believe is April. Is it on the calendar for me?
The date is, I believe this will be posted on April the 7th, and the RTC meeting in April is April the 14th.
Okay, so it'd be that Thursday. Right. The meeting would be the second Thursday. Posting would be by the end of business the first Thursday. The Thursday before that.
Yeah. And per the original RFP.
Days, so it more than exceeds that.
So it will be posted
on the 7th.
It will likely be posted on the 7th. It may not be.
Okay. Once that is posted per the original RFP, then the firms involved and any other interested parties can then communicate their comments, concerns, interests to the Board of Directors.
That is correct. Currently in the RFP there was a restriction on communication, lobbying, discussion with any board member, their staffs, or staff of the RTC other than the contracting officer, which was Lydia Belinsky. Once the matter is posted for an action item, which would be for the April board meeting, potentially on the 7th, the posting, but under the old meeting law, it just has to be 3 business days prior to the meeting. So theoretically, it could be Monday morning, the posting, but
we will make every effort to do it on Thursday.
Yeah, that's been the normal practice, has been to post on Thursdays. At that point, any interested party may communicate with commissioners, their staff, or RTC staff.
All right. Now, anticipating, because of Friday closures and the members of the board, depending on who wants to communicate, we have a time frame in front of us. April is not a drop-dead deadline for ultimately negotiating a contract. We have the ability, if this board is not satisfied at the next meeting with having enough information to make a final determination or approving a contract that's before us, can we hold that another month? Are there any deadlines out there that would be prohibitive for us to?
It only becomes, at some point it becomes an operational issue, and the transit division and Jacob would have to let you know what those constraints are, but legally, no. The existing contract expires, as Jacob noted, on September 25th of this year, so we'd have to have ample time for whoever is selected to be able to start up the service again. So assuming it was a change in contractors, you'd want ample time for that contractor to make the transition and start up their service.
I just don't, to my board members, just want to make sure, because it's going to be very intense 6-day period, not counting the weekend, and I don't want any of the board members to feel they have not had the opportunity to hear all sides, and including a lot more information from the recommendation committee and their analysis, which will likewise become public on that posting.
Correct.
Okay. And we do not need a motion, we just need to direct staff accordingly?
We just need direction to staff.
Okay.
You may not make a motion since it was not an action item.
Very good. Let's move on.
You don't need a direction that is clear to staff. They move forward with.
She's asking.
No, staff can just move forward unless you want to give them some direction.
As long as it's clear.
It's clear to
us.
Is
staff clear?
We're clear. We will begin negotiations with First Transit for a contract. We'll bring it back to you in April at your April 14th meeting.
Just so the board knows, my recollection is neither party took any exceptions to the draft contract prepared by RTC, so the negotiations should be pretty straightforward.
And I don't think that's in question. I just anticipate the magnitude of this contract and the short window we have to communicate legally. I just want to make sure we have the option to have all the information presented to the Board of Directors.
I'm very confident that we can get the agenda ready by April 7th. So we'll give you the maximum amount of time that we can. And I'll say for the record, Mr. Chairman, we had planned on giving enough time if there was a transition that needed to take place so that the new contractor could come in. We probably could wait a month. That would start to cramp the process if we did.
Thank you. All right, next item.
The next item is number 33, which is citizens' participation.
Those wishing to speak to the board, please step forward, state your name for the record.
Good morning. I'm Patricia Anderson. I'm a frequent rider. I ride the buses, and like I said, you have a lot of great drivers, what have you, on the buses. My very first concern is their doors are coming on the bus without a cage. They're just loose on the bus. They're sitting on the seat, what have you, is concerned. And I feel like, number one, we should really stress that because, they could attack anyone on the bus. Number two, the people are very bold by eating on the bus. They are they're at home. They feel they're at home and everything. I feel that should be addressed too. And also the caps as far as McDonald's and all is concerned, it should be bottle caps only. A lot of times they come in and they stick it under their coats, what have you is concerned, and it's not a fair situation. Also the fact of the cell phones. I mean, everybody here, I'm sure, ever has a cell phone. But imagine all 100 of us all at one time talking on the phone. It's like tremendous. It's horrible. I mean, they're screaming and carrying on. They're using profanity on the bus. And we don't want to hear the conversation. And another thing, getting their fare should be ready. I observed that too. I mean, I have my bus fares ready. My fare, my ID is ready. I don't be waiting, looking around. I know if a bus is coming, I'm right on point. So as I say again, and another thing, like I said again, the RTC should take back, because the drivers, they need a contract. I mean, this is, they talk to me about different things, and I need to go talk to me and bring this up, bring that up, bring this up. But they definitely need a contract, and they need it soon. Okay? Okay, so all have a good day, and have a nice weekend. I'll see you next month. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Ms. Anderson.
Good morning. My name is Marilyn Ryan. I moved to Nevada in 2006. Prior to moving here, I worked for the Massachusetts Department of Public Utilities for 13 years. We were the agency that regulated transportation. Life in Nevada has been a challenge. I knew that when I moved out here. I am completely 100% dependent on the RTC. This meeting has been amusing from start to finish. I'm sorry to hear half of what I've heard. I can only conclude that none of you are relying on the public transportation system here, which brings me to a question. I don't even know if it's a public transportation system, because my first thoughts are, who is overseeing the RTC? Anybody?
We're the board of directors, but you can continue your
Who
comments.
oversees you?
The voters?
Okay, good. On your website, number 5 on your goals, an increased public awareness and support of the RTC system. Should be number 1. Number 1. In this economy, in all the emphasis and all the resources this state has for green power and conservation, people should be riding the RTC daily, regularly. I have 2 pages of complaints, front and back. I won't bore you with all the details. I met a very nice woman yesterday, Allison Blankenship. She will make copies of these and distribute them to all of you. And one small question. Can anybody read this? The man, or I don't know who was speaking about living in a nice neighborhood. This is a map of the downtown neighborhood. I can't read it. I wouldn't know where one bus stops from the next. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else wishing to speak?
Good morning, Commissioners. President Mendoza Jr., President for the Amalgamated Transit Union 1637, City Bus Drivers. I'm just here to kind of ask the Commissioners to please, if you could instruct Mr. Snow and his staff to send us the procedure and how we can get ourselves in the agenda. That's the only thing that I got from the Commissioners. Hopefully you can speak with Mr. Snow and give us the information how we can proceed forward and put in ourselves in the agenda. Thank you.
Thank you. And I know we were restricted while this RFP was on the street as far as having any conversations with applicants and or the ATU. So perhaps if the next posting triggers the release of those restrictions, we could set up some time, if that's all right with council. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you? I'm Mark Joseph, and I'm the CEO of Veolia Transportation, Veolia Transdev. I wanted to answer a question that you had with regard to the merger. It is not an acquisition of Veolia. It is a merger. It's a 50-50 merger. We are now the world's oldest and largest transportation company in the world, with more than 20,000 American employees here that report to me. For the past almost 20 years, we've been honored and privileged to provide your service for the RTC. We think very highly of Jacob Snell and your terrific staff. We have many questions regarding this evaluation and process. We understand that there's a significantly lower price. We don't understand how, but we will look for information, try to understand what the process is, and get back to you. Thank you for your consideration, your time. There should be no effect from the merger. We are greater capacity. We're part of Veolia Environment, which is a $50 billion company worldwide, traded on the New York Stock Exchange. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Joseph. Anyone else wishing to speak this morning? Seeing no one, this meeting is adjourned.